Okay, good morning. I'm Marian LaSalle and my co-host Russ Johns and our wonderful guest today, Tonya Hofmann. Good morning, everybody.
Good
Hello.
morning. It's
Today we're talking
fantastic to
about
be here.
marketing ideas that work, and I can't wait to dig in and talk to Tonya because she is a marketing genius. I have been with her since day one of her Public Speakers Association, what do you call it? Brainstorm?
The launch of a fabulous idea, right?
Sometimes you get a good idea and you go for it.
Yeah. She drove all the way over to Houston, told me her idea, and I said, I'm in. And it's been a nice roller coaster ride ever since, the kind you really like.
Slowed down at all, have you, Tonya?
Huh?
I don't think you've slowed down at all, have you?
Why would you slow down? You only have one life. Get going.
Make it happen. Make it happen.
So for those of you who don't know, there's 13 of us, and we wrote a book together. It's called The Lone Star Media Leaders, and I'll show you a picture of it here. There's Tonya on the front cover with Dr. Joe Vitale and T. Allen Haynes, myself, and Russ Johns, and it is a fabulous book. I love the fact that we could get 13 media leaders together to talk about the things that are important to us. And so I highly recommend that you get it. It's available on Amazon.com, of course. And we are #1 in 3 countries, including the United States of America.
A great effort. Thank you for contributing, Tonya. That's awesome.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was just super excited to be a part of the book.
So Future Media Association is really all about a team. We're a team. We're working together to create cool things, right? I'm sure there's a better word for it than cool, but that's how I feel about it. It's a team of really cool people doing really cool things.
Well, it's a great community too, and as we've seen, we've had people from all over the world get involved and engaged in the training episodes and some of the sessions that we've had, and it's amazing to see, how much effort is going into the education of what technology is doing for us. This platform alone here is, Blab is another platform that offers an opportunity for us to grow a community, to capture. And I'm sure, Tonya, you've had, episodes where you've had people from all over the world connect with you, and, it's amazing we're all people. It's like you said, we're just people out here having a great time, doing what we love, and growing, assisting, and helping others in the market, because it's all about what we can do and how much we can impact others. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, you just never know nowadays where you're going to meet your best new friend or crazy. I mean, they're all over the place too. So
yeah, and it's that little ray of sunshine that you get in your day from somebody that pops in and asks the question. And, if you have questions, if you drop into the session here and you have questions, do the Q/ or the /Q and ask questions for Tonya or Future Media Association. If you want to know how to get a hold of us, we'll drop links in the chat session here, and we're totally open. And every week on Tuesday and Thursday, we have a show. And I know you have a show as well, Tonya.
Yeah, right after this, every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Okay, so you're every weekday then.
Yep. I got serious when I got on Blab.
So what other platforms are you venturing out into, and what have you experimented with in terms of marketing ideas that work?
Well, obviously, I switched everything over to Blab. I went from AM radio, which, had its reach in, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas. Then I switched to FM that had a little bit larger reach. Then I switched to Internet Blog Talk, which had 30 million listeners. And then people thought it was crazy when I switched from that to no one on YouTube. But what was so interesting, as soon as you got onto video, I got closed business. It was like just immediately a response. And then I switched over to Blab, a few months ago, when I found out about that from YouTube, because it connects to YouTube too. So you got to get a double whammy. I've tried Periscope and Meerkat, but those are monologuing, and I'm not really a big fan of sitting there just talk. I like this interaction much better.
Yeah. And when you say you've developed business from that, walk us through the workflow and some of the interactions you've experienced with Blab and this platform.
And call to action. We want to know how you do.
What is it that really seems to be the trigger for that when you're talking about doing business?
Well, I think it's about being connected to communities, right? So when you get on, say, we'll use Blab for, any instance, you're finding people who you resonate with. Like we were on Waiting, and I started talking to the fabulous Miss Cheryl over here on the side, right? We start building a connection. The second Blab that I was on, I met a fabulous lady named Danielle. She was just a guest listening. She said something about, my gosh, I want to be a speaker. I'm like, hello, let's connect, and then take it offline, right? Get them to have a conversation. You have to get connected to people. You actually build relationships. What a cosmic idea.
Well, and I think a lot of people think, okay, if I'm on social and I have a website, that's all I need. And the reality is no. And the thing that we really share in Future Media Association is the fact that that's just the starting point. That starts the conversation. That's the engagement engine, right? That it's no different than going out in your grocery store and talking to somebody in line. There's this, you may or may not have anything in common or mutual goals to work on or any benefit to each other. However, starting the conversation is the biggest.
Well, it's just like even I can tell who's a professional speaker. Now, used to, it was a professional speaker was labeled the person who got paid. They walked in, they got on stage, they did their thing, and then they walked out and they got a check. Right. That is no longer the case. The case now for a professional speaker is someone who comes in early, engages with everyone before they get on stage. They get on stage, wows the audience, be relatable, mess up. You don't have to be perfect anymore, and then walks out, and people want to know you, and you're there for a long time, and you're connected. That is a professional that I want to know, and most people nowadays want to know.
How does that shift when you're talking about? I know because there's a lot of professional speakers out there, and there are a lot of people in your organization, and you've trained a lot of people. How does that shift from a paid speaker to a keynote speaker? Because I know a lot of people are not crystal clear on that, what's the difference?
The transitions.
So,
realistically, myself and my friends about 2010 started really moving the world away from paid speaking because you just don't connect with the audience as well and you don't make as much money. So we look at nowadays, you still have some keynotes, but the keynotes are trainings. They're supposed to be motivational also, but it's really about training. I was, the other day talked to a big network marketing company that wanted to have me come in, and they want to know what was I going to teach, not just motivate. So the keynotes nowadays are really the only ones that they pay, if that. So you really have to figure out how are you going to take that opportunity, because like I just came back from Florida, 150 workshops. That's a lot of speakers.
Oh, wow.
None of them are paid, right? I had to pay my own expenses. People call it free speaking. There's nothing free about it. It's investment speaking. So you fly there, $1,500 out of my pocket. But I walk out with $7,000. And then that was before I started doing all the follow-up. So you're looking at $20,000, $30,000 easy when you go to an event.
So speaking events like that are really, truly lead
marketing.
It's marketing.
Pure marketing.
Investment in your marketing tools, and it's being present in the market. It's being out there every single day, right?
It's just like here, right? You get to meet fabulous new people. You get connected. You feel like you're building a community of people that just get you. And it's the same thing at an event. You look around, 25% of the people automatically don't like you. And they're usually the ones that walk out. I'm like, thank God, It's like, bye.
Exactly.
And then there's 25% that love you. They just can't wait to meet you and talk to you afterwards. But what most people do that is wrong is they only focus on that 25% that's ready to buy right then. So if I had stopped at 7,000, that's all I would have made.
Yeah.
It's the other 50% that you've got to follow up with. Find out which ones want to go away, and then which ones are going to buy eventually. It may be pretty quick. It may be long term.
I've taught email strategy for years, and there's 3 audiences that really exist that you need to pay attention to. And it sounds like this is what you're saying is there's the one category that never needs your product, never will buy your product, never has any use for your product. The ones that are incredible fans, they love your product, they can't wait till you release a new product and develop something else, and they're first in line to buy it. And then the ones that don't have enough information to make a decision yet.
Exactly.
And you have to cultivate those people. It's like the farmer in the field watering the plants. It's you have to have the ambition to follow up with their,
yes,
in the follow up, right? And
exactly.
And that in itself could be an entire business, right?
Well, and you have to, why do people go out of business? Because they're not making enough money. You've got to sell, and this is one of the concepts. I just did a whole sales training the other day. I'm like, come on, people. You've got to get over this. Oh, I don't want to sell. I'm like, people can't take advantage of your incredible product knowledge, information, how you can change their life if they don't buy from you. Yeah. It's the same thing with speaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So for the people that haven't met you yet and people that are interested in knowing a little bit more, walk us through the process that you help and deliver results with people in your programs and what that looks like and what people can expect as the part of the experience.
So I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. I started in January of 2013. So we're in our 4th year now, and we're across the US and in Canada and starting to branch out even further. And what is so exciting is, I always look at what's the topic of the month, right? What is it that irritates me enough to make something happen? And that's what happened with PSA is I started looking around at other groups, and I didn't see anyone truly helping speakers find speaking opportunities and then helping them market themselves, connecting them to fabulous people like yourselves, yay, Marianne's back. Yeah. And, it's about getting people's name known, and which is kind of weird for people because they have an issue with being famous. And I'm like, people have got to know who you are. They can't buy from you. You can't change anybody's life if they've never heard of you before.
Right.
So, get that marketing out there so that they know who you are. And then what do you speak on? One of the biggest things that keeps people from getting booked is nobody even knows you speak and what you would speak on.
Yeah. And there is, you see speaker sheets, and we had Alicia White, Alicia and Back to Room Productions. And so, she was talking about some of the production that goes into speakers' portfolios, the topics that you speak on, the places that you like, the audiences you share with. And
yes.
Some of those details really narrow it down. Because,
yes.
I can say, hey, I'm a speaker, which I am, and right. I'm going to go speak on different subjects, and here's where you would want to call me first if you have this opportunity, if you want to learn this topic, if you have this group. And so those are very important things to share.
And what's interesting, was like with what you and Marianne are doing, right? That is more effective for someone in speaking than the speaker sheet. Now, I've got a full page 4 layout, that Alicia did for me. I've got it because you're supposed to have it. But realistically, that is not going to get me booked, I just got a phone call from a guy. It was the funniest voice message I've ever heard. He was just like on and on about how fabulous I was because he Googled me, right? If you're not showing up in Google, you're invisible. So that's the first thing you need to do, is to get on these type of things so that your name is being populated, so that when someone punches in Tonya Hofmann, all spelled correctly, unfortunately,
Right.
17,000 pages show up, not just here's the person on, here's your Twitter account and here's your Facebook. You need more than that.
There are so many people that are not even on the top page, even with their own name. I mean, and it's amazing. Yeah. And that's social capital, that's social proof, however you want to label it. And if you're a speaker, you have the requirement and the opportunity to start building that social capital. So when people, you have credibility when they do, Google search. Everybody's going to do a Google search, okay, who's this Tonya Hofmann character, Marion LaSalle, Russ Johns, who are these people? Why are they on my show? Why are they on my TV? Why are they on my screen?
Okay, so here's what I hear you all saying, and I agree. The best marketing idea today is whatever you can do to get on Google, because when people Google you, that's when the magic happens. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Google, Facebook, Twitter, I mean, wherever they are, you need to be, that's kind of the reality of it. If they're on Blab, you need to be on Blab. Wherever your target market is, where are they?
But they're still not going to pick up the phone and call you. You still have to do something with that authority that you have built up, right? You still have to be the one that reaches out and says, call to action, do this.
Well, it's just like I said jokingly, a while ago, if you want to know more about me, just Google me. And that's actual fact. I mean, you can do that, right? That's the way people go about it anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you Google your name, Tonya, or somebody that you just meet in a casual conversation, they come back a little bit later and they say, wow, I didn't realize Tonya Hofmann was Tonya Hofmann, right? And perception is reality.
Yeah,
when we're talking about next steps
you still have to have that conversation offline. You still have to talk to them person to person, either in person or online. You still have to reach out and say, hi, let's take this offline.
There's no shortcut to having a conversation.
Everybody wants the easy, and it's building momentum, right? That's what people don't get, is they want, all right, I want to sell this webinar program. I'm going to push it through social media, and I'm going to have all these, because I've got 2,000 people on my social media, so I could get 200 people to sign up. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
If it were that easy, if it were that simple, wow. It would be great. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, it is fun when you wake up and someone bought a program that's on your website, right? That's just, a lot of recordings and stuff like that. But there's been interaction before then, right? And you've said something that made people go, oh, I need to take, how to, create a Blab TV show with Tonya next Monday. Tonya said something about that. I need to go check it out. Oh, she said it was on her website on TonyaHoffman.com. So it's like all of these things, but if it's too complicated, people aren't going to do it. They won't even remember how to find it, right? You can throw things out, and that's what most people do, is they just kind of throw things out, and then they expect people to react to it. And you got to simplify, you got to slow it down, and then you got to sell the process. And I think that's one of the things that people forget, is they got to sell that process.
I have a story to tell. Now, this got me going, and I held on to it for years. But when I first got into internet marketing, I went to affiliate marketing conferences, and I was all excited. All you have to do is build a website and put your affiliate stuff in there, and people are just going to buy. And as soon as I got home from the conference, I was looking at my computer with my friend who went with me, and there was a message that popped up. Congratulations, you just made $65. And I went, oh my God, how did I do that? And sure enough, somebody clicked on my link and bought I don't know if it was Aweber or Bluehost, something, right? And I went, oh my God, it really works. While we were still in amazement watching the screen, it happened again. I got 2 people that I didn't know from who knows where, another country, I'm sure, to click on my link. So I thought, oh my God, so I spent years trying to craft that. Guess what? That was a fluke. Okay, it doesn't really happen that way.
Never to be repeated again.
Well,
Huh?
it
This
did
is the
happen one more
problem.
time, but
This is the problem with perception, right? I used to own retail stores in Houston when I was 25. And one year we brought in, every Christmas you bring in all this stuff. We would have $100,000 worth of product that we crossed our fingers would sell on our shelves. And there was this one set of kits, and they were really cool looking and everything. And we always had like a test set. So we brought it in, and a lady came in and bought it all. I mean, she's like, oh, this would be great for all my nieces and nephews. And she bought everything. We're like, oh, this is going to be a huge seller. So we went and bought like $1,000 worth of kits. We sold one more. Okay, just because one lady wanted it doesn't mean anybody else wanted it.
No. It's never. So what are some more marketing ideas that have really resonated with you other than picking up the phone and calling people and following up, Tonya? I mean, what's in the marketing room that, you can pick from and say, okay, I'm going to use this tool today?
Well, I think a lot of it is about how are you going to do your lead gen? A lot of people have never thought about strategy.
Yeah.
How are you going to take new people that you don't know and then turn them in from strangers into acquaintances? People that feel like they said Tonya Hofmann, they're like, oh yeah, she's that lady I watched on Blab, right? It's some type of a aha. I know Russ, I know Marion, right? That kind of thing. And so that's one of the challenges, I think, for a lot of people is in how to drive them over to you so that you can really own their contact information. You've got to get them, like you were talking about, Russ, get them into your newsletters, get them into some type of email system that you have.
Right.
Connecting them with them on social media. A lot of times we just forget to go to LinkedIn or Facebook or something and follow people. On my show in a little while, anytime somebody comes on, to, watch the show, I immediately follow them. Like I followed everyone here on this show today. Mm-hmm. It just builds that link that you can start perpetuating. So it's like these little small strategies can make the biggest impact because now you've got them in somehow, right? You've got them connected to you so that you can continue that conversation offline out of the environment that you're meeting them in.
I agree with that. And Tonya's really good about keeping up with people. I'll receive just out of the blue a thank you card from her or, some kind of a message from her. And I love that. I wish I was better at that. Is that a system that you have, or is it just you just think about somebody and you pick up the phone or you send them a thank you card or something? You have a system?
I wish I had a system.
The truth comes out. Tonya doesn't have a system.
I don't have a system. I'm glad it looks like I do. I have to admit that is very nice. A lot of it is, you're at Target and you see a little pack of cards. You're like, it'd be nice to connect with people. I just bought a whole set of Valentine cards, so I don't know, maybe Marion will get one, but it's about, I like that handwritten, and I handwrite every single one of them.
Yes. Yes.
There's something about taking time, and really, how much time? Sit while you're watching, my son's gotten into Spider-Man. So while you're watching his Spider-Man program with him at 11 o'clock at night or whatever, you're filling out little forms. You kind of just do it when you're doing nothing. That's where I fill in those kind of times.
What I like to do, and I go in spurts and, fits and starts as they call it, is I'll be thinking of somebody and I'll just send them a text message. Hey, and I have a bunch of, pre-made things that I create all the time, and I'll drop it in there and send it to them. And it's a nice gesture to just connect and say, hey, I was thinking about you. It's nice to be able to relate to people in a way that it's not difficult. It's not real challenging. It's not rehearsed. It's just the fact that, hey, I care and I want to connect. So.
One of the things you could do too that works really well is go back and look at who you had conversations with, like 6 months or a year past. Because I have everything like in, I actually use paper calendar. I know it's crazy. So I can go back and flip back and say, oh, who did I have a conversation with? And then just message them again, either texting, because I get everybody's cell phones, or shooting them an email or something. And I've got booked for gigs that way. They're like, oh, that was so nice of you to reconnect with me. We were going to do those things together, because a lot of times you're like, oh, you're on the bandwagon.
Right.
And then things get in the way and you forget. And then it's that reconnection.
The traffic of life happens,
Always.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's that's, you bring up a great point there. And, one of the things that I love is, I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, and so.
This is shocking to me.
No.
No figures. And so it's really, some of those tools that we have, I mean, there's so many tools that are abundant and free out there today that we can actually use to stay in contact with people. It's super simple. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is responding to Twitter. You can now do video in a Twitter response. So it's just, take 2 seconds and shoot a little video. Say, hey, thanks for the tweet, Tonya. Boom. And it's just that little extra second, that little secret sauce on top, that makes it personal.
Well, and what most people mess up, though, is they make it business, right? So you get LinkedIn. How many LinkedIn, you follow people, and then immediately they're like, oh, I have this amazing thing that I could go to your website and look at it, and obviously it's not done right. You're like, what happened to a hello? Yeah. Nice to meet you. Let's have a conversation.
Well, Marion and I were talking about that a few weeks ago. It's like, okay, you get in Twitter, and all of a sudden you get a direct response. Hey, follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn and everywhere else except Twitter.
I'm like, but I'm here with you on Twitter. What's up with that? Why do you want me to go somewhere else?
Yeah. So follow up, just connecting, just real life, actually, whether it's a card, a phone call, an email, a message, follow up is really a marketing idea that can work. And you've achieved business. We've achieved business as a result of that. And I know that it works. It's stay in contact, build a relationship. That's really a marketing idea that works. What are some other things before we wrap up? And we're getting close to the end of the hour, Marion. So don't let me get off on a rabbit hole here.
Okay.
As I often do.
Go down the rabbit hole. There's so many things, and I think a lot of it is about where is your target market hanging out? And I think that's something that people don't understand. I go to, if there's conferences, I always try to speak at them, obviously, but sometimes the target market is there. So why wouldn't I want to go there? I went to Sasovich's event. She teaches people speaking. And I'm not really a big fan of her, but a friend of mine was going, and I was kind of curious to see what her events look like. I walked out with $10,000 in sales from standing outside in the hallway because I was bored, talking to people because they're all my peeps, right? They're people that are my target market. And then I was just telling them about who I was and connecting with them, and walked out and was ready to walk out with closed sales, right? Which is something that people don't do too. Carry with you forms and then say,
hello, thank you.
Would you like a form? Would you like to buy? Right? I mean,
make it
what
easy for them to
sales?
buy, right?
Exactly.
Sales is not a dirty word, right? No.
It's a necessary word.
Yeah.
Because they can't, if, say if they meet Marion and they're like, oh my gosh, she is so amazing. She could really help me. And then Marion didn't offer to sell her something to help them. I mean, how sad is that? She could help them and she didn't offer it. It's her duty to help that person. It's her duty to sell something to her so that person can make a difference in their life. I mean, hello.
Yeah, we have an obligation to help the people that are asking for help, right?
Exactly.
We do need training on sales. I will admit that the people that are kind and nice and sweet and all that, they just don't have it in them naturally.
Are you saying that I'm not kind and nice
salesperson.
and sweet?
No, I'm not saying that, Tonya, because I love you. But you have learned how to ask for the sale. And we need that. We need that training because it's not just a natural thing. Some people it's natural.
Inclined to have that gene. It's very easy for you to ask for the sale, Tonya. Me, I have a tendency to give it all away and forget that it's, I guess I need to ask for some money here.
Well, it's the reality of, this person, because it's from, and you've had this happen, I'm sure, Russ. You give people information, because I have that tendency. If you're some type of a coach, you just naturally want to help people, and you naturally want to give them everything when they ask you. But what I've always found is when you just give it, they don't care, they won't react, they won't do. Yeah. They have to buy, they have to spend a little money because then they've committed, they've invested. They're invested in the outcome at that point. And every time I discount somebody, it's just the biggest pain because again, they didn't value it at full price, right? So I think that's the hardest thing, especially for women. I think even more than men, but obviously there's some men that have issues, is just saying, okay, this is my value. This is what I'm going to offer you. This is going to change your life. Do you want it or not? And no, be connected to the outcome. If they're like, oh, I can't afford it. Okay, well, when you can, come back. You know, because it doesn't help you or them, in the long run.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Don't be connected to the outcome because it's not a judgment that they don't like me. They're just not interested in the product that I have to sell today, right?
Exactly.
Or they don't also whatever next.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do need to make payment plans. So it's not a no. It's sometimes how can you get them to the yes? So if someone wants to hire me, I'm $2,000 to hire me to coach them. Well, they may not be able to chunk out $2,000. We may need to do payments of $500 for the next, but you get it on a schedule and then you got them committed to it. You work it out, you figure it out.
You have a next step and a call to action.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
So to wrap this up, we need to really hone in on what kind of marketing ideas that we've covered today. And I think that we're all very happy with live video and recorded video. That is one of the things that we all do, and we love it. Yes, we're nodding, right? Right. And some of the other things that we talked about was actually getting involved in social media, but then taking the conversation offline and meeting them either in person or online like we're doing right now, and actually having a conversation one-on-one with them, right?
Yeah.
And follow up. Tonya, you're so good at follow up. So I would like to, take just 1 second here and remind everybody that that's where the money is. If you don't follow up with people, they're on to the next thing and they've forgotten. Sorry, bye-bye. You've lost, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I know there's so much more that we could cover, but it's only a half an hour show, so we'll have to have you back again, Tonya, of course.
Yay, and y'all need to come on my show, so let's get that scheduled.
Yes, I keep saying that.
Definitely.
So remember, we have written a book. It's called The Lone Star Media Leaders. It's a fantastic opportunity for you to get to know 13 media leaders in the Lone Star, which is Texas. And you can contact Tonya Hofmann on her website, publicspeakersassociation.com, and have a wonderful conversation with her because she is good at it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thanks, Mary.
So, thank you.
Yes. So thank you very much for being on the show today, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thursday, 8:30.
Thank you. Nice.
Central Time.
Thanks, Tonya.
Yay. And yes, y'all need to both schedule some time to be on my show.
That sounds good. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good day.
Wherever you're watching.
Yay.
Let your hair down.